Hello, welcome to the workshop. My name's Donnelly, and I've been working in glass now for about 8-9 years, and quite early on it was evident I was interested in making birds. First it started off as little motifs on plates and bowls and things, and then I made my first robin and developed on that pattern like this, which I'm probably best known for locally, and then I expanded it out and created a lot more different sorts of birds, flying birds as well, seabirds, but I'm particularly fond of making local birds that visit our bird table, of which there are many. We're very fortunate. We live in a really lovely rural part of Worcestershire, and we get lots of different sorts of birds visiting our bird table. I'm just doing a coal tit at the moment, not a frequent visitor, but certainly things like long-tailed tits, great tits are particularly regular feeders at the moment. Ouch. I was just going to say, don't do this. This is a common cause of lots of plasters and cuts. Every time if you're doing glass work, make sure you haven't got lots of glass splinters. I'm just going to empty this onto the paper. That's it, that'll be better. No more cuts. Right, I'm cutting a very dense white opal glass, fusing glass, and it's notorious for breaking in the wrong place. In fact, I've done it twice already, doing this difficult cut round here. Even though I was using my Lazy Susan. This is a great little device that my husband made a while ago, and for doing complicated cuts and circles and that sort of thing, it's invaluable. But I'm going to cut. Now, cutting glass is a bit of a misnomer. It's actually scoring the glass. When you score the glass, you break the molecular structure on the surface of the glass, and that enables it to snap in the right direction, we hope. Now, I'm going to just run my glass cutter over this. See how useful it is to have that Lazy Susan. Right, these are called breaking pliers, running pliers. Did you hear that click there? That's the molecular structure breaking glass, and hopefully do it there as well. I'm just going to run my running pliers over that score line, gently pressing. Right, now I'm going to break it like that, downwards, away from me, and I've got a nice clear glass cut. Little tiny bit of glass left there at the beak area. I'm going to use my breaking pliers. That's the breaking side, the flat jaw, and that's what's known as grozing. Grozing is when you want to nibble away at a piece of glass when it's a bit uneven. I'm going to use the breaking pliers just to get that bit. Maybe I'll use grozing pliers. There we go, just to neaten that off. Okay, just put that piece of glass to one side. Just shake that, just in case I've got any more glass splinters. It's quite useful, nice non-slip mat to stop the glass from slipping. Nice straightforward cut there. And any little tiny bits I either leave and then grind off, or grind off on my little grinder here to make sure I've got an exact shape. Now, what I usually do in some examples, like this robin, I use a mixture of transparent glass and glass powder. Glass powder is great for getting patterns on things like birds' wings, and also you can mix the glass colours up, the powders, to suit the colour that you're after. You have to be a little bit careful though, because if you get two glasses, say for instance, oops, just to show you sort of powders I'm talking about. This canary yellow, for a start off, is a sulphur glass, and if I mix it with another colour, say a cream, then I'm okay, because that's another sulphur glass. But if I mix it with a blue or green, which has got, say, copper alloy in it, it'll mix up and make it go a horrible brown colour. So before you start mixing your colours, you really have to check, do a test firing first to make sure that you haven't mixed up the wrong combination. Right, this is just some rough pattern pieces I've got for probably one of my favourite birds, which is a blue tit, which I mount on a milk bottle, a little child's milk bottle. It's got this gorgeous true blue, this is called, beautiful blue glass, which I use in moderation. For this one I've just cut the little wing, and then I'll cut the tail in a few minutes. In fact, I try to use, wherever possible, try to use my offcuts. Now I've got lots of offcuts. These are useful not only for doing small pieces, but also for remelting down in the kiln, making possibly things like pattern bars, where you layer the glass up, put it in a mould, and then cut it on a saw, like the one I've got behind me. That can be used for making sort of more decorative pieces like plates and bowls and things like that. Right, I'm just going to cut this little tail. Nice simple piece there. I won't bother with a pattern piece, I'll just cut it through the glass. Now then, I haven't left myself much space there. That's the trouble about me using offcuts. Oh, that broke beautifully. Normally I'd recommend that you put at least a centimetre between the edge of the glass and your pattern. You want a decent space to get the pliers to work properly, but I didn't there, and that's worked fine. Okay, so that's the tail, and that'll fit on a piece of clear glass, transparent glass, like that. And I will then follow by putting the body part, which I won't demonstrate here because it involves glass powders, which will involve me wearing a mask. I don't want to wear a mask because you won't be able to hear me, but I'll sprinkle on yellow powder, and then I'm going to put a white head on here, which I'm overlapping slightly, so when it goes into the kiln, and the same with the blue tail, these will fuse together. I should put that the wrong way around. Overlapping, they'll fuse together and there won't be a seam. Also, as part of the standing birds, I use copper alloy. These are actually welding rods sandwiched between the glass like this. Oops. It can be extremely fiddly. This is the most fiddly part of the glass bird making, which I do in the kiln. And there's the beaks cut out of copper wire. My husband's made a super tool here, which I use for making beaks. It's a former. Put the wire down there. Oops. Then, using a pair of pliers, I'll just pre-bend it there. Oops. I can get a nice shape, straight, sharp beak. That's not quite sharp enough, but you get an idea of exactly. It'd be ideal for something like a blackbird. So the bird bit goes in there, and then all the detail. Here's one I made earlier. All the detail, like the little line that goes through the bird's head there, I'll do with powder. And that's it.